You can clearly see the bone structure of the shoulder, the ribs, the back, the hooks, and the pins. There's little muscle and tissue and fat. There's a little more muscle in the hindquarters, and more fat is presented, and the spine is a bit more spacious. More fat begins to cover the loin, the back, the foreribs, and the brisket. The upper bone structure is visible, but it's not as much. Also, you can see the spine, but it's still dwindling as the scale gets higher.
In the body conditioning scale, 4 is the borderline because the foreribs become less noticeable, the spine becomes less identified, and the fat and muscle tissue is not as available, but increasing in fullness. The ribs are only noticeable when the animal is not pregnant. Each side of the tail head is filled but not mounted. The bone structure is not noticeable to the fore-eye. Muscle is building up in the hindquarters, and there are fat around the tail head covering the foreribs.
At this point of the scale, the spine can only be felt with firm pressure. The fat is available on either side of the tail and head, and more muscle is built. 8 and 9 are considered fat. In 8 animal, more fat is covered around the body. In 9, the structure is difficult to identify, and fat is excess to all parts of the body.
Well, this is Daisy. In order for her to be a 9, she probably would need to add a little more weight, but her pin hooks are fine. You can still see a little bit, but nothing much. Her tail head's good. It's nice and round, which is what you would want to look for, not any divots to where it's just ironic and able to see it. Then the ribs, you can't see any of the ribs. You can feel them, but you can't see them. Her spine, you don't see any vertebrae or anything popping up and out. Her shoulder's doing good. You can tell there's a lot of muscle there, obviously, but it's not, very noticeable. And then she's got a slight brisket, nothing major, but still got a little bit going on. She'd probably rate probably around a 7 or an 8.
Evaluating, we want to make sure they're square. She's pretty square, but in her back. But here it's toned out a bit. She's pretty straight her front leg. Well, she's pregnant, so she's a bit more round in the butt, but she's pretty square. Daisy's pastures, they're pretty strong. Cows are supposed to be a little bit more up than at Forest. Her brisket is